Okay, so today's session, we are coming to look at how to import KML files into the QGIS software and how we can deal with KML so that we can look at how we deal with them. So basically, what we are coming to look at today, it's much of going to do with Google Earth. So we'll look at the Google Earth, some of the activities that we can do. So this is more like an aspect of the digitization that we did. Because if you look at our outline today, we are going to actually do some digitizing within KNUST. So that particular file, which will be saved as a KML file, will then be open in the QGIS, which we will then convert the KML file into a shapefile. That is what we are going to do today. So I am going to share my screen with you. So if you have the Google Earth, you can open it, and let's see what we can be able to learn from it today. Or besides, if we don't have it, you can also just go to you can use the web browser on. So if we just go to the folder that we have, that's the training data folder. If you go to that particular folder, you have a folder that is being named importing KML. So if you go there, you'll be able to see it. So if you go to the training data and then you go to open the file that is named importing KML files, you will see a KMZ file there. So that is what I've opened. So now let's first of all try to look at the interface of the Google Earth Pro software. So you have your taskbar. So the first icon there is that's the side bar, and that is this particular sidebar here. So if you want this to appear, that is where you go and click so that the sidebar can come. Then you can be able to view all places, or you can be able to see the layers that are embedded in the Google Earth Pro. So if you want places to be shown, if you want places that have pictures to be shown, so that you can see the pictures, then you can be able to browse through them. Then you have all those layers here. So you can also have things to look about the weather, then 3D buildings, and so on and so forth. You can also look at the terrain. So that particular icon is what helps you to see this bar here. So if you click on it, you see it has vanished. It's a broader space for you to look at your screen, and then you can do whatever navigation you want to do around your Google Earth. So if you click on it back, then it will come and show you your layers in places that have already been saved. So now what we are coming to use most importantly is this tool, which is add place mark. You realize that when we were doing the georeferencing, the control points were generated using the place mark. So when you use the place mark, first it will come as a pin, just like what is showing here. If you click on it, this is what you are going to see. So it brings you the coordinates of the place. So you can shift it to any place you want to do. So let's assume that you want to add control points to digitize some features around KNUST. So that means that you want to georeference KNUST, you want to download this image and then georeference it, then you can be able to digitize certain things from it. What you need to do is to shift this place mark to wherever you want to place it. And then you add the control point name. So maybe control point 1, which is here, the name side. And then you can be able to change the symbol that is being used. So these are all symbols you can use to represent your control points or your place marks. So you can use any of these and you'll be able to represent your places. So that is what it is used for. Now, this is also called the polygon. That is what you use to add polygons. So let's assume that you want to digitize That is what you use to draw around polygons or things that are having enclosed shape, like buildings, maybe football parks, and so on and so forth. So that is what you use. Now, to add a line feature, you also use this particular, which is add path. So if you want to digitize road, that is what you are going to use. So this particular one too is used to add an overlay image. So if you want to overlay an image in a particular place to do some analysis, that is where you go. Now, this one is record it all. So let's assume that you want to show someone a particular location. Then you just open to your Google Earth Pro. You can go to record tour. Then you'll be able to record whatever movements you are doing around. Then this particular one is historical images. Sorry. So if you want to see some previous images of a particular location, let's say you want to see some images of KNUST back in 2015, that's where you go and be able to see your images. So you can just click on it. Then you can be able to drag this, the year that you want. So if you drag it to this place, that is 1985, around December. So around 1895, this is the image that was there. So you can use it to do analysis. So for instance, if you want to do land use land cover analysis, that is what is mostly used. If you don't want to go by maybe Landsat images and so on and so forth, you go on to use the Google Earth images. So that is where you use to get the historical images. So that is its function. So the next one where you can see the sun around is when you want to add sunlight across a particular landscape. So let's assume that you've opened to a particular locality. Let's say maybe let's say around KNUST or Edum or wherever. Then you can just add the sunlight. You see how it is, and this is telling us that it's around 8:32 p.m. Can you see the time? So if you drag it back, you see that we are going to somewhere around 8:30, 9:49 a.m. So around that time, there is sun. So if you just want to see sunlight, let's maybe switching between morning, afternoon, and evening. You see how a place look like. That is what you use. So now, if you also want to switch between maybe the Earth, Mars, this is the tool you use. So you switch between Earth, the sky, and other planets. So what is available is the sky, then you have Mars. So if you click on Mars, it will switch from the Earth to Mars. So now this is Mars. So you can zoom to it, turn it around, and see what is on it. So you can also switch to maybe Moon. So you also see how the moon looks like. You also see how the moon looks like. So I think we have some 10 minutes left. So this is also the moon. So Google Earth helps you to do all these things. So you can see some activities, some geographers that have executed some activities, and so on and so forth. These are all some activities that take place in Mars. So that is the function of this particular tool, which is switch between Earth, the sky, and other planets. So that is how it is useful. So now if you want to also take measurements, so now let's switch back to Earth. Let's assume that you want to take measurements. You just come and click on the show ruler here, then you'll be able to take the measurements. Maybe you click on it, then you start from here to this particular place. Then you see your measurements there, miles, and so on and so on. So if you don't want in miles, you can change it to maybe feet, yards, kilometers, centimeters, and so on and so forth. So use the ruler for measurements. Now, if you also want to maybe add, you've done a particular work somewhere, then you want to send it as an email to someone, you go to the email symbol. So that is it. Just click on it, then you send it, mail it to whoever you want to send it to. Then this particular symbol, which is the save image. So after you've come to maybe add a control point to some particular geographical area or areas, then you want to save the image and further use it for some activities. So that is where you go and then you save it. So we have another symbol here, which is view map in Google Maps. So if you want to view a map, like you want to have a view of a particular feature in Google Maps, that is where you switch to. Then we also have the last one, which is Google Earth web browser. So if you don't have the application, but you can go and search the web version of the Google Earth Pro, then you can be able to use it for whatever activity that you want to use it for. So now, another thing you need to look at is, let's assume that let's switch to our KNUST boundary. So if you go to Kumasi, this is where our KNUST boundary is. So now, if you look at it very well, that you realize that it is lying in a particular way that is not more like vertical, but it's more like it's lying on a spherical surface. You get it? So now, what you can do to make it tilt is for you to go to view. You go and click on view, then you go to reset. So when you go to reset, now you tilt to compass. So now it's more of kind of stabilized and vertical. So now you can do other navigations that you want to use. Now this is click to look around. This particular symbol where you can see the eye around. So if let's say you click around this side, it will be taking you around in the side that you are clicking. So if you go to the other side, likewise, it will be doing something and so on and so on. So if you use the top button as well, that is the same thing. It will be showing you the upwards of the map. And if you also use the part, that is the same thing. So now, the second part where you see the hand around is for you to move the map around. So let's assume that you want to move to this direction. You go to the arrow, move into that direction, and you click, and you see that it's moving your map around. So if you go to the next one, to the same thing, that is to the other side. Likewise, if you want to go to the top or you want to view around the top part of your Google Earth, that is what we use. So that is some basic things. So now let's do some digitizing. Let's demonstrate how to use the add polygon and add path. So now what we need to do is, this is just to show us the location of KNUST. If you haven't been able to open this boundary, but if you just go to Kumasi, you see KNUST, you see the symbol there very boldly. So let me just switch off this particular layer, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So there is no shapefile or there is no KML file that is being loaded to show the boundary of KNUST. But out of the development within KNUST, you can see it very clearly. It's green nature, the arrangement of teachers' bungalows, lecturers' bungalows, and so on. You can see it very clearly. So now what we are coming to do is that we are coming to do some digitizing of some buildings within KNUST, so that after which we will import it in our QGIS and convert it or export it as a shapefile. So now let's look for a major building. Let's look for a major building that we can do. That is very clear. Let's come and click on add polygon. Let's use crystal rows. So let's add the polygon and then we are going to digitize So let's say that crystal rose hostel. So what you need to know is that you need to draw your polygon before you click OK. That's what you should do. So now we come and click here, and we click, and we add another one. So you can use the and edit it. So let's make it okay. So we can click OK. So let's this is Georgia hostel. So let's add Georgia hostel. So Georgia hostel. Right. So we are coming to add Georgia hostel. All right. So if you want, you can change the style and the color. So you have the color fill plus outline. If you want to change, that's where you change it. Then if you also want to look at it, you can add it and some meta features and so on and so forth. So let's just go and click on OK so that you have it digitized. Now let's also look at this is all 6 two hostels. So now I think our internet connectivity is very good. So now let's continue to digitize some few more. Now, so let's look around, digitize. So we can digitize Wilcado Hostel. So let's go to add a polygon. I said that when you want to digitize, make sure that you finish digitizing before you press on OK. So we'll come to this, then we add another one here, add another one. So if you want, you can come and add this frontage shape. All right, then if you want to do any editing, you can always zoom in and point to the vertex that you want to edit. Then you see this hand symbol so that you can be able to edit it very well. All right, so you try to make this simple as well. So now you come and write will you clean untitled polygon, then you write will Cado hostel. So you add okay. We do them individual. So we can name this as maybe Wilcado Annex. So Wilcado Wilcado Annex. Then we add. Then you can do same for the third polygon. Then you take your time to adjust the boundaries of the building. You take your time, look at where and where needs to be edited, and you do that appropriately. So we still write Avocado hostel. Avocado hostel. So now I think we've done a number of them. So you see them at your places as well. So they are all here. All that we've done, they are showing here. So you have your Crystal Rose Hostel, you have Georgia Hostel, we have Ricardo Hostel, then we have Ricardo Annex, and Ricardo again. So that is the second distance. So now you can always come and click on it, and it will zoom to show you the one you are looking at. So if you come and click on it, we shift to show you the actual one. Then you can zoom to it and do whatever you want to do with it. So you can save this, you can add it to various folders, maybe on your PC, and then you can use it for any other field activity. But mind you, when you are saving this, it's going to be saved as a KMZ or KML file. So you have to do that correction as to whether you want to save it as a KML or KMZ file. The thing is that sometimes when you are using this for a particular purpose, so let's say that you want to draw a polygon which you want to put into drone deploy to fly a particular area. That means that you are going to make it autonomous. That is GPS, based on GPS. It's not going to be done manually. It will not allow you to use a KMZ file, but rather KML. So that is why sometimes, based on the project you are going to use, particular KML file for or Google Earth file for, you have to justify which of them we are going to use. And let's also look at how we can digitize some roads using the Add app. So we just come and click on it. Then we start from maybe Georgia Junction. Then we digitize around. So you just click on it around. It's okay. So what name would we want to give it? So we can say that it's around Adepa Hostel. So we can just say Adepa Street. Adepa Street. All right. Then we go and click on OK. And we see the line still over there. So now let's also try to find maybe from a particular known place. Let's say that around Pajo, this is Pajo. So you can come and stand from there and digitize. So let's also try to identify a particular maybe local hall, maybe Unity or Independent hall. So from there, we can digitize a particular road that leads to that area. So maybe we take it from the Great Hall side. So we add it from Great Hall, then to Pajo, from Great Hall to Pajo. Then you can continue to around the Unity area. So that's Unity Hall there. That's Unity Hall there. So you can always edit by using the finger object. So this is the Unity Hall. So we can also name it as maybe Great Hall underscore Unity Halls. Unity Hall 3. Something like that. It's just a random name, so we click OK. So yeah. So now let's also try to establish a link between this. So though it's going to be some quite long way, but let's just try it. So when we import them, we see some connectivity. So we can start from this runabout, then you take it from there to around the CCB hall area. Then up there. So we still continue to Oku Transport Road, passing through the Botanical Garden area, then down to Wakildo Hostel. So that is another link there. So we are going to name it as maybe Oku Transport Road, as is being labeled over there. So we have Oku is Oku Transport Road. So we add it. So now we've added several features. So now what we are going to do is that for what we have done, you realize that they are in different units. So now what we are going to do is to export them. We are going to save them as KML file. So now let's try and come and save them to us. So it's giving us a location, which is under georeferencing. We don't want to put it there. We are going to put it in the KML, important KML folder. So you can go to your geospatial, that is where I have stored mine. So now you go to the training data folder, then you also head over to important KML. So now you can, so this is what I was talking about. You see that it's saving as a KMZ. So we want to save it as a KML. So we save it. Then we can also save this save place as, then you can save it. Once you change it, all of them will be in place. So now you also go to save place for Wakildo and it's so software. So now let's leave the polygons like that and also try to see whether we can find our codes, which are also here. So we can save them here. So we click on the first street, then we go to save place. Then we have it there. Then we have Oku Transport Road. We have it save place as. Then we can also talk about the grid for. So we go to save place as once more, then we click on it. So now, what we are going to do is that we are going to show them in the QGIS software. So now what we are going to do is to head over to our QGIS. I hope you are following, please. So let's head over to our QGIS. Let's head over to our QGIS. So now what we are going to do is that we are coming to import them. And to import them, what we need to do is to save them as, and we are coming to import them as. So we go to add layer, then you go to add layer, then you go to rectangle. So now you go to the folder in which or the directory in which they are saved. So now so we go to training data, then you can go to import KML. So now we are going to select all of them and import them. So we add all of them. All right. So now, so can you see what we have digitized? Can you see what we have digitized? So now let's add labels to all of them so that we can see them very well. So label. Um, all that we have digitized, we have them here. We have all of them. We have Georgia Hostel, we have Crystal Rose Hostel, we have Wilcado Hostel, then we have our routes here. We have the Adapa Street, then we also have the transport road, which is Coco Transport. We are going to export this as zip files with various projections so that we can be able to load them as shape files and work with them in QGIS. So now what we are going to do is that, so well, all you need to, first of all, do is to know the directory in which you want to save your shape files. That is your converted shape files or your exported shape files. So now what you are going to do is that we go to the first feature, which is or layer, which is Wilcado Hostel. So we come to it, then we right click on it, then we go to export. So when you go to export, you are going to save feature as. You're going to click save feature as. So you realize that the format is already on Esri shapefile. So if your own is not on Esri shapefile, then you try to switch from whatever that it is on, maybe a geo package or GeoArrow or any of them, or even AutoCAD DXF. You try to change it to Esri shapefile because that is what we are going to do. We are going to convert our KML files into shapefiles. So now the file name. To add a file name, it's just better you browse to the location in which you want to share, you want to do the saving. So we go to our desktop and we go to the folder in which we are putting our work inside, which is the import KML KMZ file. Then you try to look for your spatial ideas. Then you go and look for your training data. And I have my KML application. So now I labeled it as Wilcado. So the name is already appearing. So you just click on it. Then you make sure you do away with KML because you're not going to save it as so you just change it, then you hit save. So once you save now, it's now up to you to determine the CRS, the coordinate reference system. So now automatically it is on WGS 84. So let's say that we want to make it projected. So we'll be using WGS 84 UTM zone 30 north. So we come and click on it, and we see automatic that's the geometry type. So it's the machine is going to automatically, or the system is going to automatically determine the geometry type. So already this is in a polygon form. So the output will be a polygon format. So now all that we need to do is now to head over and click okay. So Wilcado Hostel has been converted into a shapefile. And you can see that it's giving us a symbol that is quite different from that of what we had initially. Because we didn't have this color, we only had a shape like this. A shape like this, which represents all the polygon features. So you can see it. So now once it is a shapefile, you can try to do any further editing, maybe changing the color or even making it hollow, and do it. If you want to make it flat, or you go to symbology, then you can go to simple fill, then if you go to simple fill, then you can just try to change the fill color. So maybe let's assume we are going to this, and we go to apply to receipt. Right. If you want to put other any color you want, maybe if you want it reddish. So now let's also go to the other one, which is, so this one we are just assuming is still the same. So now let's go to Georgia Hostel. So we convert that one as well. So now let's repeat this process. So how are we going to do it? You click on it, then you go to export, and then you go to save feature. So I said that the first thing for you to look at is to try to first of all determine the appropriate format in which you want your layer to be converted into or to be saved as. So that is Esri shapefile. That is what we are dealing with. So now you browse to the appropriate location, then you write Georgia Hostel. You write Georgia. So it will come automatically when you start typing. So you just clean off the KML and leave it and save, and you come to, so that flow has been converted. So now we also have crystal rose hostel. So crystal rose. So with crystal rose, we are going to click on it as well and export. We go to save feature as, and we go to add a new crystal hostel. You clean the KML, leave it like that. So now you hit on. So now what we have converted into shapefiles, let's remove the KML files. So let's just remove them. Let's remove. All right. So we have the KNUST boundary. So now let's assume that we want to convert that one to into the polygon. That is in a shapefile format. So we just come and click on that one to, then we go to export. Then you can save feature as. So the geometry is still automatic polygon. So all you need is to add your name, which is KNUST. With this one, we are going to add. So when someone sees it, it's KNUST boundary. So okay, then you go to it on. Okay. So now that one too is more editable. So with that, we can just try to also remove the KNUST YAML file. Okay. So now let's try to change the fill color. So you go to symbology, then you can even scroll down to see also. Then you select the appropriate one. So let's assume you are going to select this particular outline as So that is it. So now let's also look at how we are going to export the line features. So we just click on them, then we go to export, export, then Azure Shapefiles. Then the geometry tool is automatic. It's detecting that it is a line feature, so it will still be a line feature when converted. So you write, you determine where you want to save it in type scripts. So now you cancel the KML, then you save, then you change your projection to TM to 13 off. Then you click on OK. So you have it here. So with that, you can also be able to increase the size, width, and even try to change it probably if you want to some other features that you use. So like raster lines, field lines, geometry generators, and so on and so forth. All those things are the things you do. So you add okay. So you realize that once you've increased the size, it's showing over there. So we can remove at the path now. Then we can also try to export that of Unity to KNUST. Great Hall to Unity. Unity Hall. So we just Great Hall, Great Hall. We try to just list off then select then we leave it in Azure Shapefile. So hit on OK. Then you also try to change your projection to ATM. Then you hit on OK. So that one as well, you can also increase the weight and you can also change the color. So you go to simple line, then you try to increase, it a little bit. So you have that one too there. So now let's also try to now remove Great Hall to Unity. Then we export Cocoa Transport Road. So now let's go to export, save feature as, then you go to Cocoa, just type Cocoa, then it comes automatically. So once it comes, always remember that once the KML is there, it's trying to bring you back the name. So all that you need to do is to change, is to just cancel or erase the KML and leave it like that. So that when it's coming, it will come with the SHP that is representing shapefile. So you click on OK, then you change your projection, then you also do. And you can also as well try to increase the width. So okay, okay. So you see that all of them has been able to be converted from what we wanted them to be. So now if you want, you can as well show the labels on them. You can show the labels on them and you show because you are not seeing the labels again because we have tried to extract or to remove the KML layers, and that was what we used to label them. So that is why you are no more seeing them. So now you can show your new labels in your default. So this is still the KML file, so you can remove and that of Shapefiles. That is how it is done. So you try to create a KML or KMZ file, then you import it into the QGIS software. Then you can be able to export it as a shapefile or any other file format that you want it to be. So let's remove crystals. So these ones are all having the same coordinates system. They're all in the same CRS. They're all using the same CRS coordinate reference. And now I hope you can see it. So we can also show labels for the roads, the big size roads. Unity Hall to Great Hall, then Kuku is to then at the past street. So basically, this is how importation of KML files into the QGIS software works. And you also see how we converted them by exporting them into shapefile. So that is the general process. So I think the first session is also left with 1 minute to end. So if there's any question, you can ask, and then tomorrow we look at very last session. Then we teach you on some other necessary